sucking on an ice lolly, sitting on a sterile bed. Your skin was pale and stretched, swollen from the steroids. I could see the cracks on your face. But your eyes, they were the same, cheeky with flecks of fire. They had a milkiness that flowed with youth. I saw my eyes in yours. If I'd known it was the last time, I would have asked questions, not joked around. Any plans to go anywhere, I laughed. Not today, you smiled. But you did go. Took your last breath at my mum's side. I tried to press myself into a corner as if distance would make it a lie. I pushed my heart back into my chest and sat with you for a while, stroking your hair, my tears staining your cheeks. I wasn't in your eyes anymore. I now know it's the last time. I wish I'd said goodbye. Got the answers I needed and hugged one last time. My life is forever altered. My hopes and dreams are chipped. But you have made me who I am, and I know I'll continue to exist. Now when I close my eyes, I see your fire burn again. Your mind in all its beauty is reflected in my thoughts. And I hope for the day that I see your eyes once more.
Words and motorcycle become my only voice in the world, and no one was around to hear it. Throughout this empty husk of a town, I had drive through many places and towns that no new sights ever strike me the way they used to. This one was no exception, yet I find myself stranded here, there, as the engine suddenly gave out. I forced myself to stop in the middle of the town, parking my bike on the side, right in front of some sort of bar or inn. I decided to spend my time here scavenging and living among the ruins while I was at it. Initially I would start off with actual stores, but there was a faint noise radiating from the bar as if a raccoon was digging around. So I decided to check it first. As I opened the front door and I heard a loud creak in its old frame, my eyes adjusted to the half-dark, dusty interior. There it was, the figure of the man that sat before me. Surprise, relief, anxiety, multiple emotions swiftly shot through my head like a bullet as I clutched my pistol and aimed it in this direction, purely on instinct. Once I did, I began to recognize his stature, a tall, older man, probably in his late 40s, wearing a typical cowboy hat and get-up. Leaning over the bar counter so that I couldn't see his face past that, but with no drink in hand. He was like the picture-perfect vision of an old cowboy, and despite looking so out of place in this time period, even if it was some sort of costume, he fit right in with the brownish setting of the bar. I had never had to point any weapon at another man before. The thought of it made my hands tremble and my heart race with anticipation. Soon after, he turned his head towards my direction and said, "You shouldn't point that thing at strangers, willy-nilly. You'll get somebody hurt." His words echoed through the bar and through my mind. They were louder than what I had felt through my head when I first saw him, and thus my arms went limp, and I soon normalized. When I looked up from the broken floor tiles, I saw his face, rugged grey hair, with a sharp chin and green ordinary eyes. They were ordinary and nothing jumped out about them, yet they were the most comforting eyes I had seen in a long time. "Who are you?" a familiar voice emanating from my lips asked. Upon hearing this, he smiled and said, "Why, I'm just your local gunslinger, Desmond MacArthur." If it weren't for him looking at me with such a gentle smile, I would have fired my pistol and moved on with my day. So I put my pistol in its right place and introduced myself. "Well, nice to meet you. If you ever want lessons on how to fire that thing, I'm your man." He said it with such normality, as if I wasn't just pointing a gun at him a minute ago, as if I was just another person in town, as if I was just another person in the world, as if there were others around to hear his voice. Yet he just nodded and smiled. From there on, until I could find a suitable engine for my motorcycle, I took him up on his offer. I learned how to shoot a gun properly. Beforehand, I had simply been winging it, and I had been managing. But under his guidance, I learned everything there was to know about using a simple gun. I'd visit him and he'd take me to a hill where I cheap bottles, small animals, anything I could get my hands on. After clearing out each wave, he just smiled at me and nodded, and it made me feel proud of myself. Then after I roast some food, I collected and talked to him about my journeys with him. And and he'd simply just smile and nod every time. Such a simple gesture was extinct to me before. He made it such a common occurrence. On the 11th day I had spent in that time, I had successfully procured a new engine just fit for my motorcycle. After installing it back and managing to get it running, I decided to visit the bars to say my goodbyes. Although I didn't want to leave in fear of never seeing eyes as ordinary again, I felt that it also renewed hope in me that I could find others like him somehow, somewhere. So I walked through the creeks that had numbed my ears by now and said my goodbyes. "Happy trails," he said in his usual enthusiastic tone. But then he quieted down with a niche remark. "Before you go, there's an old antique you will recognise by the station by the exit you'll be passing. Go ahead and take it off me, will you?" I gladly accepted and said my final farewells. As he nodded away with the final smile I'd see on him, gripping the handles of the motorcycle didn't feel quite right at the time. It's as if I'd rather be holding a gun, but it still felt the right thing to do. Once I reached the supposed station he talked about, a power station of sorts, near the west exiting road of the town, I eagerly walked inside. It was a small dark building with only a few rooms. After going through the rooms, I made my way to the final one in the back. I looked through the desks even knowing it wouldn't be there. Not even seeing a sign of it, I started to wonder why he put such an antique in here in the first place. But from there I went to check around the back where the trash cans were just in case, but to no avail. The dumpster was empty and the trash cans were full of, well, trash. But then I heard a scurrying noise, one that seemed to grow louder and louder the more I listened to it. Once it had reached its climax, I quickly drew my gun and shot towards its direction. But instead of a rat corpse I thought I'd see, I instead heard the sound of the bullet hitting cold metal. A backup generator to which my bullet struck. It seemed to have been up for a while, with the weeds and vines growing over it that I didn't even notice until that point. Yet it still appeared to be running before the bullet I fired hit it. Yet all the town's buildings never had running electricity. Was the generator just there without nothing for it to power? And what was that scurrying noise? It was near a generator, but if it was a rat, I would have seen it run away when I fired. I dismissed all of this afterwards and decided to tell Desmond about the Winchester I eventually found by the old generator. Yet when I arrived, there was no hunched over figure to greet me in his usual position, his smile nowhere to be seen. That day, the bar seemed to just be a little bit darker, yet I couldn't do anything about its disappearance. And if it wasn't there to greet me, then he must have already moved on. So I got back on my motorcycle and went off to the west, and now that's where I met you. Then she nodded and smiled.
Set in a small town in Russia. After years in the army, Richard returns home to find out what has happened to his family. As Richard begins to take his revenge against the gang who he believes have killed his family, fate unfolds through flashbacks and revelations. He must dig deep into the conspiracy to discover the truth about injustices that affect more than just him and his family. Assisting the vigilantes in his quest to fight the mercenary breakaway group, Richard becomes a heavily armed vigilante who will stop at nothing to exact revenge on Saint and dismantle his underworld empire. Ooh. Opening scenes. The film is Dead Man's Shoes. One day, Soldier Richard was thinking about his wife and son. His son was playing the piano, playing the song he and Richard had done before he left for the war. When Richard and his best friend Thomas were surprised by 6 other soldiers coming into their room. One of them was called Saint. He wanted to become the leader and sat beside them. He said they were going to start their own army and they wanted Richard to join them. They promised him more money, better guns and a better life. Richard was thinking about it, but his best friend Thomas was shouting, "Don't do it, think of your family." So the 2 of the soldiers tried to throw Thomas out of the office. Richard said no, got up and walked out. Saint made a phone call to put a hit on Richard's family. He hated being told no. A few days later, Richard saw Saint and his men leaving Richard's tent smiling. Richard ran into his tent and found a note soaking and smelling like petrol. On the note it said, "Don't forget to phone your family." Ooh. That's it.
The city made. I was caught up in the fast cars and the moving water, seeing my friends run circles around each other in the way that kids do. But we were old enough to know better, just too drunk to care. I thought the whine of the helicopter brought me comfort. It still does, but not the way the rain falling to the ground and hitting every high note on the way down does. I wanted the drama, I wanted the skyscrapers and cocktails every night, but I ran myself ragged running after other people. And I ended up dreaming of a peaceful hill, green and fresh with daisies, the only company I crave now, a tender caress of the joint as it fills my lungs and exhales my worries. I dream of the ocean unchecked, unparalleled, its mighty blue bruised waves towering over me, promising me my unimportance. I needed to raise my vibrations, find God in the loudest of places on the dance floor. I needed the sweet freedom the city offered, the anonymity, but now I need the tranquil waters of the lake on a day when no one saw fit to worship it. My toes kissing the water in a remembered greeting, the sun finally seeing fit to break open from the clouds, the trees in the distance waving their welcome. I need to find God in the quiet, forgotten places, where He speaks so quietly with such power, in the river's bashful waves at worn feet, in the mountain's might, in the serenity of night, stars out in their thousands winding back at you from their heavenly perch. I needed to find peace without validation, and knowing it come from me, and through the earth, and through the veins of the earth that run even deeper. I thought the city raised me, but it didn't. It spat me out, chewed and tired, dreaming of rolling fields of home, dreaming of the open fire and warm tea, a shared silence as we sit there reading, together but alone in our separate worlds spiraling around our heads unspoken, until, interrupted by a giant asking us if we like a cup of tea, we place our books down and meet a grinning face and answer in the affirmative. When would we ever say no?
My sister and I, we love to fight. We love to slobber about people who have hurt us. My sister and I have been to hell and back, together and alone. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it gets hard to remember who you were and who you were meant to be and who you want to be. But I can't do this.
You're doing well. Come on.
You're doing brilliant.
Go.
You're doing brilliant.
Well done.
Got my hand read it. No, sit here, but no, you're right. You're right. You've got it. Let's go. Mum will sometimes it gets hard to remember who you were and who you want to be. But with a sister like mine, it's easier to see. My sister and I go months and years without talking, and still be the same as the day we met. My sister and I, we love to rip the shit out of each other, but God help whoever tries to do the same. My sister is not my sister, but instead is my friend. Though just because there is no blood, it doesn't make us any less. My sister is the strongest person I know, and I wouldn't change her for the world.
Welcome to the next showing of the question. For starter, soup of a day. A solution with a zip of darkness. Main course, Gujo served with hunger. Hopeless with rice. And sauce served with doubt. All beside worthless chips and crying salad. Dessert, sweet suicide, covered with tears. Or overdose, dip in regret. Too late. Good. That's it.